Twitter has lost half its advertising revenue and is scrambling to make profit. Elon Musk seems to be destroying his own website with a daily view count and renaming the iconic and recognizable brand to X. Controversy is at an all-time high, and people have been signaling the death of Twitter since he took over in 2022. Yet somehow, the company has achieved all-time high user counts. What's going on here? Is Elon burning Twitter to the ground or secretly a genius? One thing's for certain, this story is not what you think. The social media giant has had an enormous influence on humanity for almost 2 decades, with over 300 million users. But a dramatic change came with the acquisition by Elon Musk, purchasing the company in its entirety for $44 billion, making it private and establishing himself as the CEO. But the deal was a messy one, with Musk proposing the acquisition, then backing down, only to be sued by Twitter, which resulted in him following through with the purchase. It's apparent that Elon realized the monumental challenge that awaited him. Twitter users were unsure what to expect. Some signaled the death of the platform, while others predicted a golden age for the company. Both sides were correct in a way because no one could have predicted what followed. Like any businessman, Musk had 2 major priorities: cut costs and improve profitability. 80% of Twitter staff have been laid off, along with most contract workers, rapidly slimming down the company to essential engineers in an effort to cut costs. Given the company was losing as much as $4 million a day, this was vital. Musk announced that he had cut annual non-debt costs down to $1.5 billion from $4.5 billion. Twitter is hardly recognizable to how it was before the takeover, but one of the most impactful changes was to do with Twitter's banning policy. Previously, Twitter had hundreds of dedicated staff towards monitoring and policing Twitter's delicate ecosystem, which had high restrictions on right-wing discussion or controversial topics, banning many celebrities and accounts in the process. But these staff were removed. You see, Elon has made freedom of speech the biggest focus of Twitter, sharply pivoting the company's dramatic focus on censorship and monitored discussion to a more open platform, or town square. But was this really about freedom of speech, or just an excuse to cut down costs? Regardless, many previously banned right-leaning accounts were reinstated, like the Babylon Bee, Jordan Peterson, former President Donald Trump, hip-hop artist Ye, and possibly the most controversial, Andrew Tate. This changed everything and began the Twitter tidal wave. All of these internal and external changes to Twitter sent ripple effects throughout the platform and the entire internet. To be honest, it was more like a tsunami. With the platform opening up for more conservative and controversial figures, many users were panicking, watching the bizarre situation unfold and signaling the death of the social media platform. The hashtag #RipTwitter began trending with memes, predictions, or nostalgic memories of users' time on the website. Many users began sharing their accounts on competing apps, and similar platforms began popping up and exploding, like Hive Social, along with a new giant entering the market. Users began migrating to these new platforms and sharing these accounts on Twitter, afraid of the collapsing ecosystem. But they weren't the only ones suffering. Celebrities and brands have also been experiencing new issues thanks to Elon's changes. Twitter's premium subscription, Blue, has undergone rework after rework, with confusing changes to functionality and qualification, and has merged with the verification feature. Before the acquisition, this checkmark would distinguish notable individuals and organizations from standard accounts, and prevent fraud and imitation. But that's out the window now. Any account can become verified by paying the $8 monthly fee and meeting the requirements. And anyone who wants verification must subscribe to the service or lose their checkmark. The same goes for the organization checkmark, but with a monthly fee of $1,000. Imitation and false accounts became rampant, impersonating important individuals, making it difficult to distinguish fact from fiction, resulting in a confusing experience for users and, for some, massive losses. An account impersonating Eli Lilly and Company made a tweet saying that insulin would now be free. To the average user, everything seemed legitimate at a glance, all thanks to that checkmark. But this one tweet resulted in the global giant losing billions, with shares plummeting. But it doesn't matter. Twitter is in desperate need of cash and are willing to sacrifice functions that provide validity and ease of use for revenue. But the problems don't end there. With a dramatic increase in controversial posts and accounts, advertisers have gotten cold feet. Unwilling to align their ads with these kinds of topics, hundreds of brands pulled advertising from Twitter, massively dropping the company's revenue. Twitter lost close to half its advertising revenue since since Musk took over. The loss of billions of dollars is a colossal blow to Twitter's bottom line, and the company continues to scramble to break even. Musk is doing everything he can to get a return from the sinking ship, with the company still not profitable, even after the colossal slash to costs and new monetization features. Is Elon deliberately destroying his own company? Why all these baffling and controversial decisions? What is the plan? With Twitter, or X as it's now called, drowning, the competition has dived into the water, seeking to capitalize on the catastrophe. To quote the French emperor and conqueror Napoleon Bonaparte, never interfere with your enemy when he is making a mistake. This is exactly the same with Twitter. The number of Twitter clones and competitors has skyrocketed since the end of 2022, with new companies popping up and offering a more stable platform, especially for those disgruntled about the rise in controversial topics who aren't fond of Elon Musk. But the real threat comes from another titan in the industry. The social media giant Meta launched their own competitor mid-2023 called Threads, an app labeled the Twitter killer that provides an almost identical feed but for Instagram users. The app seemingly appeared out of nowhere and broke records with 30 million signups in just 24 hours and over 100 million signups in 5 days. That's nearly a quarter of Twitter's total users in just under 1 week. This illuminated a demand for a new Twitter, a call for a website offering the same features but without the rampant controversy and frequent changes. But Zuckerberg went even further. He introduced many of Musk's recent contentious additions to Twitter with a Meta-verified subscription nearly identical to Twitter Blue and locked two-factor authentication behind the subscription, a change Musk had made earlier, which he endured a brunt of criticism for, while Zuckerberg also introduced unnoticed and free from controversy. The media have been singing praises for this Twitter killer, but something's off. There are some cracks showing in this whole situation. Things with Threads are not as they seem. Is Twitter really sinking? Is this the end of the story? No. There's a lot more beneath the surface, and more to the story. While Threads had an explosive growth spurt, it appears to be short-lived. Mere weeks after launch, Threads experienced a traffic drop of almost 70%, from 44 million daily active users down to just 13 million, and that number continues to plummet. The daily time spent is even worse, from 19 minutes at launch down to a pitiful 4 minutes, a bafflingly low amount for a social media giant like Meta, especially when compared to Twitter's daily time of 31 minutes a day, or the app's parent platform Instagram at 29 minutes a day. But wait, isn't Twitter dying? How can an ideal replacement like Threads be tanking so quickly? Isn't this what people were pleading for? Well, a cycle has emerged after Elon's takeover. Users will flock to a new competing platform like Threads, and while some might stay, most will migrate back to Twitter after a short amount of time. Everyone wants to jump ship, but only if everyone else does it too, which never happens, thus resulting in a cycle of leaving Twitter only to come straight back. Everyone's saying Twitter's dying, but this results in the platform having more drama, discussion, and higher engagement. Okay, so why? Elon's focus on being a town square has made Twitter one of the most open and balanced social media platforms. With less restrictions on discussion between both political sides, the rate of engagement has increased. This allows for more debates and, albeit heated arguments, which drives up the platform's engagement. Musk announced that the company's daily active users have reached their peak after the takeover, contrary to what you might think. In fact, this has happened on numerous occasions, which reveals the true story. Twitter has been on a downwards trend for years, last recording profit as far back as 2019, long before Musk took over. Not only did Musk's change come at the right time, but they were pivotal if Twitter were to survive. Twitter now has a competitive advantage that no other platform would dare replicate. Social media websites live and die by engagement. It's basically food for them. And all the controversy, be it the political debates or Elon's new ideas and changes, drive up that engagement. What better way to drive discussion and user interactions than to talk about the platform itself? Users love to discuss Elon's decisions, either praising them or poking fun at every baffling change. But it's no fun to do that on Threads. Even if Twitter is burning, you just can't look away, which ironically helps the platform thrive. The future for the website is uncertain, but judging by Elon's vision, it appears he has big plans for the platform, with the ambition of turning the social media app into an everything app for payments, banking, longer videos, and more, with the ability to conduct your entire financial world. To quote Musk, Twitter may be more akin to a phoenix than a sinking ship, burning down before rising up again from the ashes as X. Many believe the website to be dying, and that may still be true, with the company struggling to make profit. It's hard to say whether the website will survive, but all of this has only further cemented Twitter's place in culture. While Twitter is rebranding, other companies like Apple have retained a strong brand identity for decades. We made a video about the strategy Apple uses to get you to spend more, which you can watch right here. And don't forget to subscribe to Dollar Stories for more business documentaries.